Hello everybody, Thetimic's back with more of Let's Play the Factorio way. And yeah, steam power, that's what it's going to be about here. We're going to finally get that going. I promise. Now, there's one problem, however. If we take a look at, let's not look at it from here, let's look at it from here. Somewhere around here, I think it's, yeah. So I went ahead and researched the Mark II Steam Power Advance, or Steam Power 1 as the research is called, and there's one problem here. That is 5 ingredients. We can only make 4. That's an issue. We can make the Mark II boiler, which is the key part of this. That gives us the efficiency boost, and we can couple that with a standard steam engine. We just can't build the Mark II steam engine yet. Now, if we were like, well, how about we research the ability to do that? Not really gonna happen. Yeah. So here's Automation 3, which is what we need. The red assemblers will eventually take over for the yellow assemblers. And, you know, we're gonna get... They can be built using 6 ingredients. But we, you know, don't have green science, and they also require other stuff that we can't make yet. So, you know, we can't do those electronic circuit boards or concrete yet. So that's not at all going to happen. So, take a quick look at our resource situation, and it really hasn't changed much. The saphirite, we used 9,000 of that in the past couple hours. So that's just a little under 80 hours worth left there. We still don't have any more. Nothing's changed on that. Mentioned last time I need to get more radars up and start looking out more, and I still need to do that. We just haven't gotten there yet. I was working on circuit network stuff and some other gobbledygook. So, but we do need to get that happen. It's not going to last that 80 hours. It probably won't last half that long. But we do still have some time. Going to need to do that as soon as we can. Coal, still great, 1.8 million. That's going to last quite a while. And we're just like about 1,000 rubite and stereotype and bobmonium. So this small coal patch here down to just over 5K, we're looking at basically wrapping that up during the course of this particular episode, and then moving everything out here to that coal patch. And here's how the power looks. See, we had a little bit of dip in power usage, but it was pretty consistent. And this is again over the past hour, which is how I normally look at it. A little over 400 kilowatts. Again, this thing can hit 2 megawatts, so we're less than a quarter still of its production. No real concern there. We're getting, you know, regular spikes in what the assembling machines use. And they're pretty much the biggest one, except for the radar, of course. And then we've got the, you know, the inserters following along in there. Greenhouse further down was operating the whole time. So, you know, once that gets done, we'll lower it down. But no power concerns at all. And then the production report. You see, this is when I was going to work on that whole solder area, and I was putting stuff up, and I had enough of everything else back at the base, so this thing's just sort of shut down. We didn't really need as much, but you can see coal going up a little bit. It was about 5,500 before. Now it's almost 6. We went through more iron, I think, than we ever have before. That's, you know, over 2,000 an hour, and we were in the, I think, 1.7, 1.8 an hour, 3.5 or so for the 2-hour period. So, and actually, no, this is 1 hour. I've been looking at 1 hour. My mind was on the 2-hour. No, it's 6K per hour on the coal and 4.4 compared to 3.5 per hour on the saphirite. And almost 3,000 iron plates in an hour. So, you know, we're producing a good amount of stone. Now that we've got more of this stuff automated, seeing more of that come out. But we're not, you know, it's pretty much the same general deal. We're just seeing more of the supplemental ingredients because of, getting the circuit network up and running, so all of that stuff is being handled as it should be. So here is the steam engine setup that I'm going to go with. See, we've got the offshore pump over here on the lake. This is on the west side. The bobmonium is up here, so the idea is to extend this up this way if I need to. But this is a spot where I'm not really putting anything else. The greenhouse is down to the south, and I just want to do this operation here. So we've got the underground pipe going under the ammo belt. This, of course, is protected by turrets on both sides. Not completely around with walls, but we'll get there. Now the water comes all the way over here to the boiler, and the reason I do it that way is because the coal is going to come in over here. We've got the burner inserters to keep this completely independent of the power grid, and we've got a buffer chest here. And I'll explain why I'm using that a little bit later once I get this fully up and running. A couple steam engines here, and then we're going to connect some power poles to this and connect it up to the grid. So this is sort of where I'm going to do it, and again I've got the Mark II boiler and the 2 standard steam engines in place. So now we switch all the way to, and you see I didn't put a transport belt in there. I did eventually fix that. But we're switching all the way to the east end of the map. Look at our mini map, we're way over there. And this is just a little coal area to the north of the main patch, and we're getting everything set up here. Now, this is all going to overflow in a second here. This is just sort of, I got this set up and I didn't actually build it all. I just showing how I want it to work. This is basically priming this whole thing. So this is where the coal supply for the steam power plant is going to go. And again, I want that to be totally independent of the other one. So I'm just grabbing little bits of it off the main coal loop for the factory. The production area, and just pulling that on here to prime these, and then they'll start sending it around to where I want it to go. And here we are as I actually turn it on for real once everything's been done, and this took a while. Partly because I had several hundred of the basic transport belt sections ready, and I had several dozen nanobot tubes, and that ended up being not nearly enough. What I end up having to wait for more, and I'll show why in a second here. But what we've got is the coal comes in here. It's going to roll around, and I ended up moving this and actually putting it where it's supposed to be, one over with another inserter, and coal comes through here, and then it comes back out. So the whole loop is now complete. We'll just switch to the mini map. Okay, so this is... There we go. That should be a decent view. So the coal comes in here, goes out there as I was showing. It's going to go back around up here to the north, down this way. That's where the steam is. And then it comes back. So that's the big loop there. And why did I push it all the way up to the north instead of going straight across? Well, I want to use this area for, the starting part of what's going to be the minibus. So I didn't want to have like 2 different coal things going across. I already kind of wish I'd done something else with this, and I may later. But so I just wanted to roll it up there to the north as far as I could so that I have room in here to use that. Now if we look at the pollution, see we're getting a little bit more down here. We'll get more up here. And it's getting pretty dense over here. Now we haven't actually, this is about the extent that it was with lower pollution. It's not spreading super far, it's thinning out as it goes. It's not spreading, it's spreading a little bit further than before, but not a lot. But you can see it's really, really intense, more intense in any case, right around the main factory. Okay, so that sound you're hearing is a siren, and I'm going to explain why it's there. Let me see where it is. And I'm just going to turn it up a bit so it's even more annoying. Okay, now hopefully that's not, you know what, I'll knock it down just a bit, just for the purpose of this. Now, that is one of 2 things that I needed to do. I needed to reset up or not reset, but a new batch of combinators to regulate how much is going to get dumped on this belt, which is of course the one for the steam power plant here. But then I also wanted to, I really, really don't want to have blackouts, if I lose power, really bad things are going to happen. So I've got this wired up to make sure there's a decent buffer in the chest, and if there's not, it's going to warn us. That's what that siren's about. So I've never actually done this before, but I really like the alert system with this programmable speaker item, which was added when they did the circuit network. So we've got the volume controls. We saw global playback. That basically just says, am I going to hear it just here or everywhere on the map? I definitely want to hear it everywhere. If there's stuff going on, I want to know about it. So when it shows the alert, and then if you tell it to do that, it's going to, well, what settings do you want? So I selected that item. I like that as a sort of a warning thing. And that clicks down here. It says steam plant low on coal. You can see it'll show the icon on the map. So all these different options are cool. And then this tells it when to display. We've got the coal that it's reading from the chest is less than the black signal. I've set up a black signal for this in the CCC in my main control center with the constant combinator there. And right now that's set to 50. So if there's then the chest isn't holding any. And then I can select different things here if I want. There's all kinds of musical instruments and stuff for playing music. That's mostly what the polyphony is for. It lets it play multiple sounds at once. That's very useful for music. But I don't really want that. And, you know, I selected the siren because there's different ones here. Like if we try the ring. It's kind of like a telephone. Now that would be potentially useful. So would that one. Then we got buzzers. So, and I just picked this one. It's sort of the air raid siren one. I may actually switch it to that first alarm one. But it's actually important. I'm pretty good at blocking things out. It's important for this to be sufficiently annoying. Because I don't want to be something that I'm off doing something else and I'm going to ignore it. The whole point of it is it's got to be an alert. It's got to be an alarm. It's got to get your attention. So this will keep doing this until I get 50 in here. And it's not getting any in there. It's not getting very much coal. And it's, if you look at our boiler, it just, boom, it zooms through it. But it is getting some in here. And we can see these are actually not quite going all the way down to 0. So it's getting enough coal that these are very, very slowly filling up with steam. And I do mean very slowly right now. Got to get more coal to improve that. But once they fill up with steam, then the boiler will slow down because it's only going to produce so much steam as the engines need. So this, you know, is just sort of a really good motivator to, would you hurry up and get that, get the coal filled? So don't have to hear that anymore. Thanks. Okay, so this is a bit later. And we can see, like, the steam is up to about 20% because they'll hold 200. So we got 30 some. We've got a steady amount in here. So it's still taking, like, it's still building up. It's still showing the out of fuel sign. It's taking all the coal that it can get, but it is gradually building. This is progress. This is very, very nice. And then if we look at the power real quick. No, not production. That's not what I want. I want power. Okay, so we can see that this is splitting pretty evenly. And I think it might just be saying, well, I'm going to take everything from the steam that I can get and fill the rest with turbine. But I don't think it's doing that. What I think it's doing is it's just trying to split. It's got 2 power sources. So it's trying to draw an equal amount from both, and it's not quite getting an equal amount from both because the steam can't quite hold up its end. But this is still progress because we're getting about half of our power, almost, from the more efficient type. So we're using less coal to produce that power a little bit than we would if we had it all coming from the steam turbine. And how about that? The siren's still running. By the time I got all the materials together that I needed, I had to get stuff ready, nanobot tubes, I needed the combinators to get that set up, which I was about to do over here. I had 5 initial mining drills set up. Remember, there was one here. It's gone. 3 of them were used up, so it was only producing 2, and that was going to be very bad for getting that siren to shut up. So I built this. And the idea behind this is I want this expandable. So I can build another row in here, another row in here, and another row down here. I can get 3 rows over some really dense coal deposits. Some of these have, 2,000-3,000 per square. So we're going to get some of these that are going to be in 5 digits, like maybe 10,000-12,000 potentially in one location. And they'll be able to stand there for a while and just churn it out. So I'm obviously not going to want all these running full speed all the time to supply power. But we've got to fill the line. So right now I just was like, look, I'm putting these up. And now they've all primed. They're all pumping it out. And as that works its way over there, those steam engines will be able to shoulder more load. And a little while later, you hear that. Now there's our new combinators. And these are all hooked up. What you hear is the mines running. You don't hear the siren. Because the siren has shut up. About the time I started hooking these, it got up to its 50 coal that it was trying to get. And it turned off, which is a beautiful thing. So that's all going. These are all regulated. Now they're nowhere near. We look at this right here. It's looking for 75 and it's got 10. So our line is nowhere near as full as it needs to be. These are going to be running for a while. But they have caught up and satisfied these steam engines. So progress. Okay, so back over here at the steam power plant again. Now, we're doing really well here. We've got everything full up on steam. We don't have a huge amount of coal on the belt. We've got enough. It's pulling it off. Everybody's happy. We've got 100 and some in there. But I noticed a problem here. We can see that, like, the boiler, it's not, like, it's churning through the coal, but it's churning through it, like, almost as fast. This thing doesn't stop much. It stops a little bit, but almost as fast as the inserter can fill it in, and yet we're only getting a fraction of this. What I think I'm going to need to do is just build 1 row of steam engines with the boilers, because of them being Mark II as opposed to regular steam engines. I think I'm going to need to just do a 1-to-1 relationship here. And then what I also did is I built another, like, more chests on each side, up the count for the speaker, more inserters, so that I've got 3 of them that can insert at once. So even after this ramps up more, I can get more coal into it and get sort of a throughput going here. Now, I could have done a fast inserter, just move the coal faster, but that would totally defeat the purpose of keeping this independent of the grid. So with that in place, I was confident that the steam power plant was working, everything's set. Now, this pretty much took us up to the end of this update, an episode, so I couldn't get to the radars yet, but that is the very next thing on the priority list. And then we can move on from there. But, it took a while to get this going, but to me, it's so much more satisfying. Steam power just comes at you in vanilla. But I've had to work my way up to it here. We're now sitting, not quite there, but we're pushing closer to 20 hours in, and I'm just now getting it. I mean, this feels like a real achievement. So, that is going to do it for this episode of Factorio Way. I hope you've enjoyed it. Be back soon with more, I hope, as the slow climb up the ladder of science continues. See you then.